My situation, my answer to your question is, if you're in that situation, remove yourself from those persons. Now, I've seen husband and wife relationships where one or the other of the partner constantly puts the other one down, makes jokes about them, belittles the things that they do. This is a very unhealthy thing. If it's possible, it's good not to get involved in such a relationship, or if you are, to get out of that relationship. That's what I would say on that matter. Is that helpful? Okay. Read the book. Right. Yeah.
Itu dosa nggak sih kalau kita tuh pengen cari tahu sesuatu tentang kehidupan sebelum kita gitu?
Itu ya, poinnya itu aja ya.
Why would it be wrong to try to find out about your past life? I don't understand why that should be wrong.
Soalnya ada orang lah yang maksudnya ada hubungan dengan saya, itu pernah, kan saya pernah nanya, saya tuh penasaran gitu kenapa saya kayak tertarik dengan hal itu, terus orang tuh bilang kayak, kamu jangan nanya lagi gitu. Soalnya kayak, orang tuh ya punya sesuatu yang bisa ngeliat ke masa lalu. Terus gara-gara itu dia jadi sakit-sakitan, jadi kayak saya pikir, apakah itu dosa gitu?
Orang yang bisa lihat atau orang yang setelah melihat sakit-sakitan?
Orang yang bisa lihat, maksudnya kayak tahulah gitu.
This is my idea. When I hear people say, oh, I can remember my past life, I think they're telling lies. I've met Westerners. They didn't know anything about rebirth. And then they become a Buddhist, and then they start telling me, oh yeah, I can remember all my past lives. Really? Well, I've been a Buddhist for 40 years. I can't remember my past lives. And have you noticed, quite often when people talk about their past lives, they were always Cleopatra, or a Roman emperor, or somebody really great. I don't believe it. Okay? Listen, we've got enough troubles trying to sort out our present life, which we do know for sure. How about focus on our present life and forget about your past life, even if it were possible to find out about it? How can you tell whether that memory of your past life is genuine? So I don't think, even if it were possible to find out about your past life, how do you know that your memory is correct? Sometimes I can't remember what I did 1 week ago. So I would say, keep your distance from people who claim that they can remember their past life, and particularly if they claim that they can figure out your past life. I don't have any confidence in that at all. And even if it is true, I can't see that it is useful or helpful to know about your past life. That's my idea. Let's be realistic. Let's deal with our present situation or our future. Past life, leave that till later. Anything else? Okay.
Namo Buddhaya, Bante. Bante banyak yang beranggapan kalau kita memperdalam agama Buddha itu untuk dalam hal materi kita akan susah maju, dikarenakan agama Buddha itu kalau kita pedalamin itu lebih banyak ke spiritual, yang menghilangkan ego, mengecilkan ego, sehingga daya bersaing kita itu berkurang gitu. Apakah benar demikian? Kalau tidak benar, seharusnya bagaimana kita sebagai umat Buddha untuk memperdalam agama Buddha tersebut, Bante? Terima kasih.
I've never had any problem. Of course, I'm not a businessman. But am I right in saying that this would be a problem that a sincere Christian, a sincere Hindu, a sincere Muslim would be involved in also? Anybody who's trying to live with a higher moral standard than ordinary people might have same problems. Now, I don't know very much about Indonesian society, but people tell me that it's quite difficult doing business here without, If that's true, that's very, very sad. If that's true, it's very, very sad. And if it is true, it might be very difficult to do business here without at least some dishonesty. But they have done studies, at least in other countries, and they have found that cheats, the people who cheat in business, usually end up getting into problems. Over time, people fail to trust them, don't take them into their confidence anymore. The type of persons who are more likely to succeed in business are the people who have honesty and integrity. They may not make quite so much, but they're much more likely to have more business because people trust them. And one of the steps on the Buddha's Noble Eightfold Path is Samma Ajiva, right livelihood. So that step on the Noble Eightfold Path is about your job and how you do your job. So I can't see that leading the Buddhist life should be a hindrance to these things at all. And then we talk about ego, having no ego. Look, you've got an ego, I've got an ego, she's got a big one, okay? Everybody's got an ego. Worry about fixing your ego later. When you go to the Himalayas and live in a cave and spend all your time meditating, then you deal with your ego. Until that time, as I said, have a well-developed, healthy ego. And that's the type of person who is pleasant to be with. People who have got a bigger ego are often very unpleasant. So I can't see that leading a Buddhist life should be a hindrance in any way at all. And here's something interesting. When I go to the bookshops in Singapore, the biggest selection of books, there are two. For women, they are romance novels. And for men, they are how to succeed, success books, how to succeed in business, how to be a CEO or whatever you call it. There are hundreds of these books. No, there are thousands of them. Now, I thought once, I'm going to write a book on that subject. But I'm going to write a book on the subject about success, slightly different. How to survive being successful. Because when I read the news and listen to the newspapers and read the newspapers and listen to the news, how many people have become enormously successful and then they make a total mess of their lives? Then I read about Mr. Bernie Madoff, made billions and billions of dollars and then totally ruined his life, and now he's in jail for the rest of his life. How many people become successful and then their success destroys them? Lots of them. Now they're the famous ones that get in the newspaper. How many others are there? Thousands. I tell you, success can be a real danger. So I would write a book on not how to become successful, but if you become successful, how to handle it so that you survive. because lots of people don't survive. Huh? So that's what I would say. Your question. Problems. No, you asked me about my difficulties, yeah? Right. I didn't have any. Why? Well, all sorts of reasons.
I mean, everyone have a difficult day. I don't think maybe in young or in old, but Bante always success from young until old. Why?
No,
Tell me, please, the success story.
I can't answer the question as to why people have problems. Sometimes they have problems because they made a bad decision. Sometimes they have a problem because they were running across the road and they got hit by a car. They didn't judge it. I mean, there are thousands of reasons why people have problems. Sometimes they go to a restaurant and the food is not good and they get a stomachache. I mean, there are thousands and thousands of reasons. I couldn't list them all. But in my own case, thinking back, I haven't had too many problems, fortunately. And now I have survived 65 years. I look okay.
Still young.
My health is okay.
Yeah.
My mind is okay. I'd like more money. Maybe you could help me with that?
Of course, we help each other.
No, you just help me. So I haven't had too many problems. Some people do have problems. And some people have a string of problems. Why? Well, maybe they make bad decisions or just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Who can say? Some people really do make difficulties for themselves. We just spoke about that. They get a lot of money and they can't handle it properly. They spend it on drugs or late nights and wild parties and things like this. People, that is a great shame. People should avoid that because we've got enough problems coming from outside which we cannot control, but self-created problems, we could at least save ourselves from those things. But in answer to your question, I can't really think of any major problems that I've had in my life, I'm happy to say. Okay, anything else?
Yes, thank you.
From this side? Anything? Okay, anything from this side? Yes, ma'am.
Nama Budaya Bante. My name is Reinhard, and I want to ask that the Buddha said that we need to do good and avoid evils. But as people trying to do so, they become the victims of their own good deeds. Is it called karma? And why does good things may cause bad karma?
Good things don't create bad karma. I think the problem is this. Some people have got a very naive view of karma. Some people have a very naive view of life. So one thing is they think, if I'm good, nothing bad should ever happen to me. But that's very naive. So things that happen to us which are good, or things that happen to us which are bad, are not necessarily caused by what we've done. Some are. For example, if you drink a lot, you might end up with a liver disease. Well, there's a clear relationship between how you've acted and this problem. There's a clear relationship. But there is no relationship whatsoever between building a hotel and having it destroyed by the tsunami. I mean, they are clearly very different causes and effects. Wouldn't you agree? Good. And this is another thing. People think if they become a Buddhist, their life should be smooth for the rest of their life. Why? The Buddha never said that. How is that possible? This is what the Buddha did teach. That if you follow the Dhamma, when you do have difficulties in your life, you will be able to manage them better. Now I know some people, I've been told, hallelujah, praise the Lord, if you accept our religion, everything will be wonderful. First of all, that's a complete lie. That is completely false. And Buddhism doesn't make that promise. What it says is that certain things in your life will definitely improve if you behave in a moral and righteous way. But that doesn't mean that you won't get sick, or that your children won't be naughty, or that you won't get hit by a car. If you get sick, that may be due to the food you eat, or the fact that you don't do enough exercise. If your children are naughty, that may be because they mixed with bad friends at school. If you get hit by a motor car, that may be that you made a bad judgment when you were running across the road. So the Buddha said that should it happen that you have difficulties, if you have developed your mind, you've developed patience, if you've developed self-understanding, that may help you to manage your problem better. That's what I would say. What else? Wow, that was quick, yeah. Okay. Right, just take the microphone.
The first question is, in Chinese tradition, sometimes the old people say that in this year you should not go to the funeral or go to the hospital to see other people who sick because it will give a bad effect to you. So what do you think about that? Because
I've never heard that before.
And the second one
Well,
is...
no, wait, first one. So the question is, some people, old people did you say? Gee, old people could be really stupid, can't they? So old people have tell you that you shouldn't go to a funeral and you shouldn't visit a sick person in hospital because that will...
Because in those places there are a lot of negative energies.
Negative energy. I don't believe in energy. You know, I meet people in Singapore, they're Chinese. Chinese are crazy people. They believe in all sorts of crazy things. And one thing Chinese in Singapore, they believe in ghosts. Whoa. How do you say ghost in Chinese? Wei. Wow. Now, I've never seen a ghost. But I do read the newspaper. And once or twice a week, I read in the newspaper that one man had a fight with another man and beat him up and knocked all his teeth out. Or I read that one man murdered another man. But I have never read in the newspaper that somebody was beaten up by a ghost or somebody was murdered by a ghost. Have you ever read that in the newspaper? I haven't either. Now, if you're going to be frightened of anything, be frightened of ordinary people. They can be dangerous. Ghosts, I've never heard of anybody, I've never read of a report in the newspaper of anybody being killed by a ghost. I'm frightened of you people, not of ghosts. Huh? And it's the same, how can you be frightened of a dead person? When they were alive, they might have made trouble for you. When they're dead, they can't do anything to you. And visiting a hospital, why would you visit a hospital? You probably visit a hospital because somebody you know or somebody you love is sick. So why would you be going there? You'd be going there out of compassion for them, to show them that you care about them. You would be going to talk to them and ask them how they are feeling. In other words, all your intentions would be good. If there was any energy there, it would probably be positive energy. Now, if it were so that being in a hospital for half an hour to visit somebody sick, you pick up all this negative energy, wow, doctors must be full of negative energy. Those nurses, wow, they must be full of negative energy. Are they? Doesn't seem to be. What silly ideas people get those. What was your other question?
Another question is, when we would like to put a Buddha statue in our house as the object for praying, is there any guideline to put in proper way, or we can put at everywhere that we think it's just a good place?
Okay, so this is another thing that Chinese are really worried about. Omitovo. I tell you a story. One day I got a telephone call from a lady in Singapore, and she was so frightened that she was hyperventilating. Like she was so frightened. And it took me about 4 or 5 minutes to calm her down. I said, take it easy. No problem. Tell me, what's the problem? And eventually she told me what her problem was. In Singapore, if you break the traffic rules, they take a point off. And if you get 10 points off, they confiscate your license for 1 year or something like that. Yeah? And she's had 8 points taken off. And that day she was driving too fast, she got caught, so she had 9 points. Only 1 point left. And when she got home, she was so angry at herself that she took off her bag, she had a bag over her shoulder, and threw it on the floor.